Is it just me, or has the rise of AI made it increasingly difficult to trust digital art? Initially, I was skeptical and even hostile towards the concept, believing that human innovation is the essence of art. I didn't and still don't believe that drawings printed off from a few keywords can be categorized as, well, art, as it lacks that human craftsmanship. How could you mistake something made by ChatGPT as something created by human hands? It seemed so laughable to me before. Many people are now calling themselves artists simply based on their ability to input keywords into an engine or tracing an AI-generated image. While I may concede that AI models have some utility, I argue that they should only be seen as tools, not a replacement for human creatives. On one hand, we really can't stop people from playing around with it. And I don't think anyone's gonna get hurt if little Timmy puts a selfie in an AI filter. Go ahead and have fun with it in your own privacy. But I'm getting really annoyed by people selling the quote-unquote art as their own original work. The language behind art and artists is changing rapidly, and I'm not sure what the hell we're going to do about it. It used to be easy to spot AI-generated images. Like, come on, a bitch with 7 fingers on one hand? Let's be real. But now, it's broken into the mainstream like we originally feared it would. Models and engines are advancing at an exponential rate, making it impossible to keep up. Digital artists are being used as training models without their consent, and the market's becoming increasingly flooded with dupes and imitations. It's getting harder for individual creators to prove they're the ones behind their own damn work. And you're definitely no longer allowed to have a creative amount of fingers in your artwork now. Sorry. It's 5 fingers or nothing. Speed paints, once a reliable way to demonstrate skill and authenticity, aren't cutting it anymore either. AI can replicate them with ease, further blurring the lines. We're in the midst of what I'd like to call an art pandemic, where supply is finally meeting demand, but at the cost of genuine creators being left in the dust. The art market was built on trust, but that's now a luxury we can no longer afford. With AI-generated images flooding the scene, it's becoming impossible to trust what we see. Every day, I witness a witch hunt unfold as we mercilessly scrutinize artists swift to ruin their reputations on mere suspicion of AI usage. How many promising careers will we brutally cut short in the name of authenticity? The creative community, which is already marginalized and neglected by people, is facing an existential threat. As the AI replacement fog becomes harder to see through, how can artists possibly survive in a world that's increasingly hostile to their very existence? As a casual art enthusiast and purchaser, I'm overwhelmed with anxiety. How can I distinguish authentic art from AI-generated works? I'm consumed by guilt, eager to support genuine creators, but lacking the expertise to identify them. The more AI advances, the wider the knowledge gap grows, leaving me feeling helpless. I want to be a responsible patron, but the uncertainty is paralyzing. I'm trapped in this dilemma, fearing that my inability to discern real art will inadvertently perpetuate the harm I seek to avoid. I've recently done it too, with League of Legends' new skin line. I thought the Seraphine splash art was suspicious, but I was wrong. Is it really the artist's fault if their creations are used as the model for artificial intelligence? Do they have to learn a new art style because it's been copied without their consent? Are we forcing artists to become streamers to legitimize their craft? Must we witness their creative process in real time to trust their authenticity? This feels like a hostile takeover, demanding artists to sacrifice their privacy and creative freedom for our peace of mind. Even if they could stream their process, how long before AI mimics it flawlessly in a live setting? Perhaps it's already happening. The thought of artificial intelligence replicating the entire creative journey from conception to completion is chilling. Where does that leave the value of human artistry? I once dismissed the fear of artificial intelligence, thinking it was a distant threat that only affected scientific and analytical fields. I believed that creative professionals, the right brain individuals, were safe from the perceived menace of AI. But the rapid advancements of the past few years have shattered that illusion. The realization that AI can replicate artistic expression, potentially replacing human creatives, has shaken my understanding of the future. I'm now forced to confront the possibility that my previous dismissal was short-sighted, and the threat of AI encroachment on artistic territory is very real. The very human process of learning is now part of an algorithm. Art studies, where students and wannabe painters copy the greats or their inspirations to develop their own style, those practices are able to be simulated. Now that these tools have been made public, the internet is going to do what the internet does best. It improves and reiterates despite reasonable protests. I don't think it's far outside of the realm of possibility for programmers to develop models that are more intimately aware of human anatomy. The complaint that art generators aren't capable of creating realistic proportions or dynamics is only temporary. Eventually, and I think this is already happening, these algorithms are going to be able to compete with what an individual can create. When these algorithms can compete, they can replace, discouraging blossoming artists from improving their budding talent. As a VTuber, my online presence relies heavily on collaborations with digital artists. Although I don't create art myself, my existence is deeply intertwined with theirs. I yearn to support and uplift these creatives, but when I search for art on platforms like Etsy or Booth, I'm consumed by that uncertainty. Did a human pour their heart and soul into this piece, or did AI generate it? My doubt lingers, making it difficult for me to confidently support artists in the way that I desire. The blurring of lines between human and AI creation threatens the very foundation of our symbiotic relationship, leaving me very anxious about the future. And how many more VTubers are going to be revealed for stealing a design or ripping something from AI? What if I did it by accident? What if I collaborate with someone who is a consistent AI abuser without knowing it? I started thinking about this because there was a recent Pokemon card illustration contest. The contest, which aimed to showcase and reward fans, was allegedly inundated with AI-generated submissions. Thank goodness there were experienced artists on social media able to identify the AI-generated images, pointing out subtle tells that went completely over my head. I'm shocked by how convincing these generated pieces were, and how unable I was to distinguish them from man-made pieces. This experience has made me realize how unprepared I am to navigate this new reality, where AI can masquerade as human creativity. The blurring of lines between the human and the artificial has profound implications, and I'm struggling to keep up. I'm faced with a daunting realization. I don't have confidence in an artist's authenticity. I don't possess the expertise to distinguish human artistry from AI-generated works. Even social media platforms are a little confused. Almost every image posted of Canada versus the World contestants are labeled as created by AI. But these are just real people, if a bit retouched in Photoshop. If corporations with teams of people can't get it right yet, how am I supposed to as an individual? I think I know something is machine generated, and then it turns out it was actually made by someone. Or what I thought was genuine turned out to be a dupe. The joy of discovering new art is now tainted by my doubt. I feel bad when someone shares their work with me, and a part of me is immediately suspicious that they didn't make it. The future of digital art feels so uncertain, and I'm left searching for answers, hoping that a path forward will emerge. Automation isn't something we can run away from. This I know from history. Horses were replaced by cars, seamstresses by textile mills. Is this the next vocation on the chopping block? Instead of painters, will future generations want to be operators of art machines? Will the starving artist be only the property of the wealthy, while the general masses can only afford what is made by a computer? So, what do we do now? I don't know. What's your opinion?